Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I hope everyone's doing well and that everyone's staying safe and staying indoors during this quarantine. I'm going to be listening to the new Black Atlas album called Dream Awake, which I think came out last week or even maybe a couple of weeks ago. I've not listened to any Black Atlas music before. I did sort of hear of them when they signed to the Weeknd's record label XO, so I can kind of, predict what to expect a little bit in terms of sound for this music. As an R&B artist signed to the Weeknd, I do think it's going to sound quite similar to the Weeknd style of stuff. Could be totally wrong, but I'm pretty confident. I've not listened to any full project before, but I do think that it's had a couple of projects before this, but this is the one that's been getting a lot of buzz on Twitter recently. So yeah, I'm excited to dive into it to see what it sounds like, and some good songwriting, some good atmosphere. Let's see how it goes. Before I do that though, please do make sure to comment, like and subscribe on this video, and also check out my other videos as well. I do have a new series which is going to be starting in the next couple of days. It's going to be about a certain big artist and their extensive back catalogue. I'll leave you to ponder on that, but in the meantime I will also be reacting to all the sort of new releases that come out as and when. So with that being said, let's get into the first track from Dream Awake, the new Black Atlas album. It's called Never Enough. Yeah, let's just dive in.
Like your touch, I wanna feel you next to me. Baby, I need your energy. I don't wanna hide from those eyes anymore. No, it's never enough. In my memories, nothing else can break me. Like your touch. Oh, I don't wanna hide from those eyes anymore. All I need is your touch.
Solid intro, I think. It was a lot lighter in terms of production than I expected. I expected something a little bit darker, just based on XO, its history, people like Belly and Nav, and of course the Weeknd, who are all sort of part of a similar mould, all quite dark music. Yeah, but interesting vocal, very much reminded me of Majid Jordan, actually, the artist signed to OVO. I'm not sure whether Black Atlas is a Canadian artist or a US artist. Yeah, they sound very similar to another Canadian artist, of course, Majid Jordan. Vocal tones, anyway. Musically, didn't really hear the sort of 80s influence that you hear on Majid Jordan's music. Anyway, let's move on and see the next track called Do For Love.
I do the most in a second, every minute of the hours. I'm good to go. I'm going to extreme. Tell me what you need from me, 'cause you are you as far as it takes me for a little love. Things we do for love.
Funny that I just mentioned that Majid Jordan artist before this, and the 80s influence. Already you can hear a lot of 80s influence on this track, Do For Love, in the sort of bounce, but it's kind of like 80s rock influenced, which I'm not averse to, so I think, yeah, this is already, I can tell this is a strong track. I'd be surprised if this wasn't a single. Definitely sounds like an immediately attention grabbing song. So yeah, let's carry on. Bow Hell. very strong track, chorus instantly memorable. Yeah, fantastic falsetto as well from the vocalist. I'm not too sure of his real name actually, but yeah, really strong track. Definitely one to throw on a playlist. Definitely can see this being played on radio as well. So yeah, big track. The next track's called Night After Night, and the following track's called Sin City. So we could be moving into the sort of darker patch of the album just based on song titles. Could be totally wrong. Let's see what Night After Night's got to offer.
If I can make you love me again, I'll keep the summertime on your skin. It's beating past all our exes. And baby, I'll give you my life in your hands. I know you wanna feel alive, don't you? Night after night.
Big Weeknd influence on this. You can literally hear this singing on, Starboy, After Hours. It's very much influenced by the Weeknd. You can see why he likes him. So that song was pretty much a Weeknd song, purely on the songwriting, the melody, the production, pretty much everything apart from Abel's outstanding vocal. The lead vocalist of Black Atlas did a good job, but obviously Abel's vocal is pretty unique and pretty fantastic, obviously as well. So, but yeah, very much a lot of Weeknd worship on that song. But again, enjoyable. We'll see what the next track has to offer. Hopefully, Black Atlas separates himself a little bit from the Weeknd with these few tracks, but let's see. The next track is called Sin City. Again, yeah, another track that very much you can see his worship of the Weeknd, and there's a little bit of a Justin Timberlake vibe to this as well, a Future Sex sort of Love Sounds vibe to it with the with the rap verse, well, kind of rap verse towards the end. Again, another enjoyable track if you like that kind of sound, which I do. Reminds me of, as I say, trilogy era Weeknd or sort of Future Sex Love Sounds in production and in vocal runs as well. But yeah, it's a decent track, one that I'd be definitely interested to come back to for sure. Yeah, it's a solid album so far. Nothing like completely outstanding. Definitely sort of in, as I say, the EXO wheelhouse. Definitely in the sort of Toronto wheelhouse as well. You've got mix of Magic Jordan, mix of the Weeknd in there as well. I'm still at the moment struggling to see what separates Black Atlas from other people, or maybe this is just for people who are fiending for that old Weeknd sound. We'll see. The next track is called Lie to Me.
Tell me you never seen them now. I don't wanna know. Now leave here on my own. Babe, I'm sorry if I get too honest. Don't let them lie to me, babe. I'm feeling all that I can say.
I really like the quiet guitar in this track. Definitely kind of separates it from the likes of Magic Jordan and all that kind of stuff who don't use guitar as much. But yeah, it's so far a decent track as well. Again, another solid track. With this album, I think it's doing well to create an atmosphere, but there seems to be a lack of storytelling thread. Songwriting seems to rush to the hooks. The verses are very short, but also it's hard to look past the Weekndisms that he does fall into. And as I said, I'm really still waiting to be fully engaged and to fully see who Black Atlas is and why I should see Black Atlas as something different in the Weeknd, something different to Magic Jordan, to sort of separate themselves from what we're seeing here. I'd be interested to see if there's any EXO producers involved in this, or if Black Atlas produces these things himself. Please let me know in the comments. But as I said, if Il Angelo or Doc McKinney, all those guys who've worked with the Weeknd work with this guy, I'd be interested to hear. But yeah, as I said, I'm starting to feel fully engaged in this album so far. But we're almost halfway there. Let's see what By My Side, the next track, has to offer. Features someone called Sonia.
But I think I found the future in your eyes. Never had it any better. Never switching, 'cause I don't see myself without you by my side. So I'm not wasting any time.
This song's like a whole different artist, very much more on the pop side of things rather than the sort of dark R&B. I could again see this being played on the radio, being remixed by all of the sort of tropical house DJs that are thriving at the moment. Probably a little bit too poppy for me, but yeah, let's just see what the feature sounds like anyway.
All the signs, heaven can't wait till we get it all of the way. My life, till we see the other side. My side, my side.
Apologies to EXO and to Black Atlas, but unfortunately that track was super generic, very predictable, and just not for me. Let's move on to the next track called Show Me. Hopefully it's a little bit more got a little bit more grit. Let's see how it is.
Nobody else. I used to get so high up for love. Now I'm so scared of the distance. This won't be the only night. Won't you show? Won't you show?
We're back to the Weekndisms again, even down to the vocal effects that he's putting on his voice here. Very trilogy again. But again, music of this style I do very much enjoy. So yeah, let's see how this continues. I'd say that's definitely my favourite track so far. Actually, really enjoyed the production on that. Definitely some interesting elements in there. Obviously very trilogy-esque, but yeah, I enjoyed the darkness. I enjoyed the songwriting, and as I say, the production definitely stand out on that. Yeah, probably my favourite up with the previous one, which was Do for Love or Do It for Love. That one and this one are probably my favourites so far. Next track is called On Your Mind.
Jump off when it feels right. I can do this all day, baby. You'll let us out thousands. Our dreams, our time to be set free. And I want you home.
wasn't a fan of that one. Just thought, you know, the vocalist performance on that was just really unengaging. Just nothing grabbed me about that song at all. Had this weird sort of strange 90s European sort of groove to it, which I'm personally quite glad has gone out of style, and I don't see Black Atlas bringing it back. After such a strong previous track, I was very disappointed with that next track. But, you know, it's so far been an up and down kind of project. Let's see what the next track has to offer. It's called Weak.
For you, love, watch you listen, you my drug. Only had you a couple times, but you're my fucking star. Too long to get your body in my arm. You got me weak.
I mean, this project definitely fares better when it keeps it simple and stick to that kind of sound. That track again was, you know, only, you know, just over 2.5 minutes really, but, you know, quite repetitive in terms of jumping straight to the hook, and the hook itself wasn't that sophisticated. I think the project overall definitely suffers from a lack of charisma, I think I would say. But yeah, as I say, there's 3 tracks left. Hopefully there's something that, you know, really jumps out at me. There's been a couple of tracks I like, but the rest of it has sort of fallen into, you know, background music, unfortunately. But let's see. The next track is called Drip.
Got the liquor moving for me, in my body, in my mind. Baby, I can see you, but don't look into my eyes. Take another shot and let yourself go to the night. So let it drip. Oh, oh.
Like the previous track, kind of falls into that repetitive, you know, half interlude, half just chorus kind of a track. Again, not a fan. It seems a strange move to put all of these really short tracks at the back end of an album. They come across a little bit unfinished. As I said before, a lot of the verses are very, very short, and it just feels like riffs on half Weeknd ideas. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, the next track is called Lavender. It is actually just about 1 minute, so probably an interlude. Let's see. A perfectly pleasant instrumental interlude there. Obviously no vocals. I would guess then that Black Atlas probably does play a few instruments and does do production, having that instrumental in there. Again, perfectly pleasant, nothing amazing. Like I said, a very strange place for an interlude, second to last. But anyway, the outro is called Close Your Eyes. Let's hear this final track, and then I'll give you some last thoughts on the album.
I can't be complacent. I said, baby, promise I'll stay your mind. Close your eyes, baby. I can read between your scars. I'll stay your mind. I'll meet you there tonight.
I'd definitely say Close Your Eyes is probably one of the stronger tracks on the album, and, you know, a solid way to close out what has been an okay album. I'd say the vocalist is probably lacking a bit of you know, charisma, personality, even, you know, his own identity, because, you know, when something is, you know, so when you're paying homage to your influences, when it goes too far, it can turn into parody. And unfortunately on this album, I feel like Black Atlas does fall into that a fair bit. I feel like his songwriting as well is a little bit basic at times, lacks the sort of vivid amount of colour that some of these artists, these R&B artists have, which probably you know, it's to the detriment of his own music, and it all comes across a little bit generic, a little bit background. At the same time though, there is, you know, a fair bit of potential in his vocals and in his production. You know, it's typically, you know, dark Toronto sort of kind of stuff, but on the whole, I would definitely say I was probably pretty visibly underwhelmed by this album. That being said, that was my reaction to the album. Please do like, subscribe, follow all the links below to read my blog, where you'll see reviews of all sorts of artists, whether in rap, hip hop, indie, rock, anything. Stay tuned to the channel for more content really. There's going to be more reviews coming, more reactions coming, as well as a new series based on the back catalogue of a very big artist. That's the one clue I'll give you. Do check back for those videos next week, and for any new sort of albums that drop, I will be reacting. But as I said before, I hope everyone's staying safe, staying indoors, and not going too crazy. But thank you for joining me, and thanks for watching.